The man who starved to death surrounded by food. Survival wasn't the problem. Food wasn't the problem. The problem was whatever convinced him not to eat. He could have lived. He knew it. Something else knew it too. On a winter night in 1978, 5 men left a basketball game in California. They were happy, laughing. They never made it home. Their car would later be found abandoned in the mountains, unlocked. Fuel in the tank, radio working. But the men were gone. Searchers followed footprints into deep snow. No signs of panic, no struggle. Just 5 sets of footprints, walking uphill into the dark. Weeks passed, then months. When they were finally found, one of them had survived far longer than anyone expected. His name was Ted Weiher, and Ted didn't die quickly. Ted made it to a remote forest cabin. Inside that cabin was shelter from the cold, a working heater, blankets, and food. A lot of food. Enough food to keep one person alive for nearly a year. Ted lived there for months, and then he starved to death. When Ted's body was discovered, he weighed barely 100 pounds. He was wrapped tightly in sheets, as if someone had tried to keep him warm. Next to him were unopened food rations, metal cans, military-grade survival meals. Ted had eaten almost nothing, not because the food wasn't there, but because the cans were never opened properly. They required a simple tool, one that was sitting inside the cabin the entire time. Ted never used it. Here's what makes this worse. Ted was not alone when he arrived at the cabin. Someone else had been there first, someone stronger, someone capable of opening the food, someone who left and never came back. The cabin showed signs of human activity. Lights had been turned on, the heater had been used, food cans had been moved. But when Ted was found, he was alone and still surrounded by food. Ted was not confused. He was not injured enough to prevent him from eating. He was not unaware of the food. So why didn't he open the cans? Why didn't he save himself? Some believe Ted was waiting for the others to return, waiting for permission, waiting for someone who never came back. Others believe something frightened him so deeply that he chose hunger over action. Ted's beard had grown long. His fingernails were worn down, signs of survival. He fought to live, until he didn't. The other 4 men were found scattered across the mountain. Some died from exposure, some from unknown causes. One of them was never fully accounted for, and no explanation has ever made sense. The question isn't how Ted died. The question is, what makes a human being lie down, surrounded by warmth, surrounded by food, and decide to stop? Because whatever happened on that mountain had followed them into the cabin, and it stayed until Ted didn't move anymore.